Good morning, folks. Today is the 12th of January, Wednesday, 2022. Oh, Lord. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at this point in your day and you're watching this. I hope it is or has been, an amazing day. And you've been able to knock some of that rust off along the way, huh? As always, using the beginning of this time, figure out and pinpoint any particular spots that might have caused me a little issue in my sleep last night, maybe. Maybe a little hang up. Maybe the dog crawled up in the covers. Cat got comfy in a crook of your neck. Or maybe, frankly, you just slept like crap. I don't know. Oof. But, no matter what, I hope you're using this little bit of time at the beginning to figure out and pay attention on where you might be able to get yourself a little bit easier and make your day a little bit smoother. Oof, I don't know if any of that made sense. Probably not, because it sure as hell didn't in my head. Cobwebs, Stephen, cobwebs. Oh, Lord. So shoulders are still bothering me a little bit from yesterday. Not what's going on there. Normal shit, I guess. Oof. A little bit of windmill action with the arms, flailing them around like I'm a kid with nunchucks all over again. Whatever works, folks. It's kind of what I've learned, right? Kind of what I've been talking about the last week or so. Whatever works for you. Oh, now I'm gonna do a little bit of a circle motion back and forth with my hips, swiveling at my hips. Gotta knock that rust out, folks. All right, I'm gonna take it up big and tall. Start getting those hip flexors ready to move around for the day. Slowly working my arms back behind my head. Still reaching up big and tall, fingers interlaced if that's what you can do. Up onto my tippy toes. Moving my toes, curling my toes, picking up onto the balls of my feet, going back up onto my heels. Still moving around. Oh. All right, so I'm gonna grab a hold of my left wrist and lean over to my right side, stretching as far as I can, trying to feel it all the way through my knee, through my quads, on the left side, all the way through that hip flexor. And I'm gonna lean back slightly as I'm leaning over. Feeling those obliques stretch. Feeling those hip flexors stretch. Feeling it all the way down into my knee, all the way up through my arm and shoulder. Now I'm gonna just swap sides. Ooh, that left side's gonna play funny in a minute. It's okay though. Breathing through it, folks. Concentrate on your breathing too. You're getting that blood flow pumping I'm gonna rest a second before that back freezes up on me. Let that blood flow pump. Unkink that water hose, get that hydraulic hose from bursting, whatever you want to consider it in that allows you to envision it. You want that circulation through your whole body, feeling like it's just running free. Okay, grab a hold of my right wrist with my left hand, and I'm going to repeat my previous motion to my left side. Or I will repeat my previous motion, but this time to my left side. There you go. Feel it, folks. Wherever it feels right to you. Just remember when you're doing it, that you want to envision yourself moving a little bit further the next day. So now, folks, I honestly don't think I've shown this one on video, but just to kind of help me, instead of reaching up and grabbing back behind my elbows, if I'm having really bad nerve pain, sometimes that pressure behind my elbow just doesn't feel good, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to reach up and I'm going to put my hands behind my head, but I'm going to interlock my fingers like so. So this way, when I'm pulling, I'm literally pulling on my fingers, kind of like you were, if you would be hanging on from a monkey bar, or from a 2x4, whatever you think you can hang from, right? But that's what I'm doing. I'm gripping my fingers over and I'm interlocking them almost in an S position, right? Click. Now, when I do it, you'll see I'm still moving my arms back behind my head. And the reason why I do that is so it gives me the ability to shift my head back and forward with it if I need to. But it allows me to still stretch out those muscles up into the side of my neck, because frankly, I got way too much God blessed tension going up through here, and that's why you see me wrinkling on my neck most of the time, is because these muscles tighten up, and no matter what I do, it's just got to be a repetitive process. It is what it is. So, interlock my fingers like so. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull my left arm and left elbow back behind my head. And I'm going to pull down with my right arm, right? There you go. And I'm getting a nice pulling sensation, stretching sensation all the way back here. All of this. But of course, it's also all back in here at the top of my shoulders, all back into my shoulder blades. I can feel it all, folks. Yep. But only until I'm comfortable, right? But still, like always, I'm not standing in one position. I'm shifting around. More shift sides. Pulling down slowly, ever so slowly with this left arm. But folks, to be frank, it may not look like I'm doing much, but in reality, I'm also working on grip strength, right? Because by now, depending on how long you've been holding this, how hard you're pulling, how much tension you're putting there, I'm working out these fingers. These fingers that are gripping are legitimately getting a little bit of a workout, because now they've got constant pressure holding against them. That's why you'll see me still, and I always preach, move everything, right? Because in all reality, it might not look like much, but in all reality, I'm still giving myself a slight workout. I'm putting my body almost lost balance there. Interlocking my fingers, gonna reach up towards the top of the sky, palms facing up. Oh. Bridging out my fingers as much as I can, feeling the stretch all the way through my palms, all the way through my hands and my fingers, and all the way down my forearm into my trap, through my bicep into my shoulder while I'm doing this. But at the same time, as I'm shifting back and forth, I'm still feeling the stretch through my back, through my lower back, into my hip flexors and down through my toes. Because in all reality, as I'm shifting, I'm still moving my calves and everything else and trying to get a full stretch. And in all reality, folks, the reason why I'm spending so much time doing this morning is because I frankly need it. So here we go. Oh, all the way up, shifting back and forth, reaching up through, but at the same time, still shifting slightly side to side for what I'm comfortable with, right? All right, now I'm going to take it all the way out in front of me, bending over at the waist, trying to keep my feet flat on the floor as possible. We're trying to get my palms flat on the floor as possible. And if it's a little interested in my back, which it is, I'm going to do this little sliding motion because for me it works, right? It's just normalizing those movements and making my body realize that, hey, guess what? If you move, it doesn't let you get so stagnant. Oof. To be frank, folks, we're not like the Chevy commercials. Like a rock? Yeah, you shouldn't be like that. Should be more like a tree. Ooh, Lord. Now with this movement, folks, legitimately what I was doing just then is I'm still in my bridge position, but instead of sitting here, and just flexing back and forth, what I actually just did there is I leaned forward and I actually brought my knee down past and over my toes. All this pressure is legitimately right there, and in all reality, the most tension I'm feeling is actually right there at the ball of my foot, all the way up through my knee, and I'm doing a full stretch. And I'm going to reverse it and do the exact same thing but with my left leg, right? And as I do it, I legitimately push my center point further back, because what I'm doing is now I've got more stretch going on lower in my calf, but I've still got a lot of the pressure on the ball of my foot. Now, a lot of this comes from the knees over toes guy, right? Slowly work my hands out away from my feet. Out to the suspension bridge. Trying to turn it into a vert ramp and get my hands closer into my center of my body and getting my back arched as much as possible. That's why I call it the vert ramp, right? Because when you think about it, watching all them BMX and skateboard and everybody else, Tony Hawk and all them. I'm going to work my way back in. Slowly walking it. And I can feel, folks, frankly, I can feel it all into this lower back. And I know it's still hurting me, but If I take it slow, I know it's just my body trying to say, hey, stop. But in reality, it just means I need to work it out a little bit more. I'm not going to accept stop quite yet, because I know my body well enough at this point that I know in all reality it's telling me I just need to go a little longer. So, right, and I'm going to slowly start working my way down towards the ground, towards a meditation position. But as I do this, I'm going to go into a full squat first, trying to give my hip flexors and everything as much of a stretch and as much time to breathe through this situation, right? Because it's not yet, it's not right now. Up as far as I can, up onto my toes, without going on my tiptoes, right? And when I'm doing this, I'm also really giving the inside of my groin area a stretch, because I'm flexing all of this up. I'm pulling all of my pressure up over my toes. And slowly working my way down. Well, as I'm working my way down, I'm continuing to stretch this, and you can see me kind of trembling here because my body's trying to tell me that I'm weak, to be frank. But just play with it, because in all reality, that was a beautiful stretch without having a partner there to help you do certain movements that normally take two people. You can use your own body weight if you just figure out how to move it. Oh, see? And now this is a relaxing position. My feet flat on the floor. My booty back behind my heels. Or as much as possible right over my heels. So I can, in this point, if I try hard enough, I could probably balance on my heels, to kind of show you what I mean about all my everything being in one center point and trying to work on your center of gravity being in one generalized spot. Let's see. See, pretty close, but that's what I mean right here. See, right there on my heels. Ooh. All right, now I'm going to take it out to a meditation position. Right foot is flat against my quad as possible, the inside of my quad as possible. Still moving my feet. See, it wants to Charlie horse right here in the inside of my left leg, or the left inside of my left arch rather. So I'm going to give it a little rub down real fast. Don't do it. But when I'm doing that, and like this is one of the reasons why I say normalize moving everything when you're getting into these positions and trying to find these positions, because if it becomes, if as I have figured out on me, if I get into this position and my toes know that, hey, yeah, we can move, I don't end up with so many Charlie horses. I allow that circulation to strengthen as well as everything else. I feel like that's what I'm doing. I feel like I'm strengthening my circulation through my body. Blood, oxygen, muscles, tendons, all of it. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it also works on my anxiety. Now I'm gonna rotate legs, right? Probably should have. No, yeah, there it is. All right. Remember, flat as I can to the floor. I'm gonna start working my way back or way out towards the camera. The whole time I'm doing this, or as I'm doing it, I'm still moving fingers, using the pads, the mats to grab a hold of them, stretch my arms out as much as possible, my hands out as much as possible. As I'm doing this, I'm still shifting my hips around and trying to get it to where I feel like my legs and my hips and everything are as flat as and in line with the floor as possible. Like I said yesterday, sometimes you just gotta pick up. Well, folks, the gremlins got me, and yeah, so I ain't gonna be editing nothing into it. I'm not gonna go back and redo everything. You're just gonna get what you get. It's only 20 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, you got kind of lucky. I think I was there for probably closer to an hour and 20. So, that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Strive to break out that rust as much as possible and get a little bit further than you did the day before, right? Other than that, nobody is here to listen to me talk anymore. So, love you guys. You go out there, be safe, and just be decent human beings. Adios.